Halloween is once again upon us. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well. Tonight I'm just going to go through my recommendations for this Halloween for you. So I've got a pick of movies, just no particular sort of... I have tried to pick a few that are sort of very sort of Halloween based to watch. That'd be good fun. And I've also picked out a couple of books that are worth sort of, if you get a chance to pick up, worth picking up and reading through this sort of Halloween. They're not novels, they're not storybooks. These are books based on horror films. So we're going to have a look at a couple of those and some films that I've picked out. So we'll get straight on. These are my recommendations for this Halloween in 2023. First up is a zombie film, but it's a zombie film with a difference, and it's called Pontypool. This one is about a radio station, and it's about there's like a zombie holocaust going on outside the radio station, and the radio station and the people in there trying to survive it, and they're having people phone in, and they're trying to help them out to survive as well. And if you're interested in that, on the PlayStation, I don't know if it's on Xbox, but on the PlayStation, there's a new game out called Killer Frequency, which is a little bit similar. You play in a radio station, and you get callers calling in, and you've got to solve some puzzles to help them stop being killed by this sort of serial killer. So that's quite similar in a way. I might play that on my channel around Halloween. I'm thinking about it, but yeah, that's quite cool. So I highly recommend that. It's a really different sort of zombie film. Pontypool, that's a recommendation. Next up is a werewolf film. I'm trying to go for a bit more sort of classic genres as well, not just Halloween, just to give you a bit of variation. And this is a British film called Howl. And it's based on a train, of course, another railway horror. I will do my favourite horrors on the railway at some point, and this will be in there. It's fantastic. This is based on a train, and the train breaks down, and the driver gets killed by like this sort of werewolf or whatever outside in the snow. It's all snow everywhere, and the conductor is left on the train with the passengers, and they're trying to fight for survival. And so it's definitely a good sort of survival horror film to watch. A little bit underrated, I think, for it sort of went under the radar, and it's actually made by the people that made The Woman in Black and The Descent. It's not on Hammer Films, but it's still very, very, very cool, and it does have oh, what's his name? Sean Pertwee stars in it, so that's pretty cool. So we're going to have a Halloween classic up next, and it's a trilogy of films. This Halloween, I'm not going for the classic John Carpenter Halloween. I'm going for the modern day Halloween. So we've got Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. So if you've got, I'd say about 6-8 hours, you're off work, you want a really good Halloween sort of like marathon, go for the trilogy, because it's definitely worth watching. Now these are sort of based after the first two Halloween. So you've got Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, the John Carpenter film, and the follow-up. These are sort of based after that, because all the other Halloweens went one direction, this went another. So it's just another telling of the Halloween things. There is going to be more Halloween films, I'm sure. I know there's been news of a couple of companies picking up the franchise. So that's cool. But yeah, definitely worth a good fun evening or day if you want to get some popcorn in and stuff and have a bit of a scary time. Yeah, watch the new sort of trilogy. People give it a bit of flack, but I don't understand why. It's absolutely amazing. Great film. Another Halloween film up next, and it's fantastic. It's like one of those sort of anthology films, but they all sort of build into one sort of story, and that's Trick or Treat. It's a typical sort of Halloween film, really. It's, again, definitely worth watching. It's got Brian Cox in it and stuff, and it's another one that sort of went under the radar. It didn't really have any sort of cinema sort of success. I think it was straight to DVD or video, but it was really successful. I think because it was timed so well, and a lot of people really liked it because it was so sort of like, it was really cool, and I really enjoyed the film. and it's a really sort of good Halloween sort of a film to watch. So Trick or Treat is another one to watch for Halloween. Talking of Halloween, we're going to BBC TV now. Back in the day, in the 80s, Ghost Watch. This was a program I think they played on Halloween, and it was one of those sort of spook documentary sort of things where they're going around ghost hunting and they're supposed to have encountered a real ghost. It's very cheesy now, but it's still a very fun watch. And it can be eerie in moments. When you watch it, you can see where films like Paranormal Activity and all that maybe have got their influences from. But yeah, it's great, and it stars the great late Michael Parkinson, and obviously Sarah Green. Definitely worth a watch for sort of fun time. I got this from HorrorCon for nothing, and me and the lad watched it, and we actually really enjoyed it just for its cheesiness. So Ghost Watch is another recommendation. Now, this one I really recommend because it's one that, again, is under everyone's radar, and it's such a good film. It's such a good, fun time to watch, and it's Satan's Little Helper. Again, this is based around Halloween time, and this boy, he sort of believes in this Satan thing, and he's really into Satan and stuff. And he sees this guy dressed up, and he believes it to be Satan, and it turns out to be that it is. So he turns into Satan's Little Helper, and they go through a killing sort of spree. It's a good fun film. It is definitely a sort of classic to watch on Halloween. I highly recommend. I think I recommended it last year as well, but it's only because it's good fun. And if you're interested, it has just got a Blu-ray release, I think, maybe even a 4K release, I'm not sure, but it's just got a release. I don't know if it's 88 Film or 101 Films, but one of them have released it anyway, so it could be worth picking that up at some point if you want a more up-to-date version. I'm quite content with the DVD because it still works pretty well, so that's cool. Classic 80s now. I love this film. This came out in the 1980s. It stars Mark Price, and it's called Trick or Treat. It's not a trick or treat like a Halloween sort of pumpkin trick or treat thing. It's a rock horror, a heavy rock horror. It's about this young lad at high school called Ragman, and he's really into sort of like heavy rock, heavy metal, and there's a singer that he absolutely loves. But the singer that he loves dies in a house fire, and he's absolutely distraught about it. So he goes to his local radio station because he's friends with a DJ there, and the DJ is played by Gene Simmons, who's from the legendary 70s rock band Kiss. He plays the DJ. He goes there, and they're all upset about it, and Gene Simmons gives him this record, and it's like a record that's never been released before or anything, and it's like a demo version of songs of him that hasn't been released. So he gives it to Ragman, and Ragman goes back and plays it at home, and the record gets stuck, and then he starts playing it backwards, and it's like speaking voices, and it reincarnates his hero, and his hero helps him to get revenge on, because he's being bullied at high school and stuff because he's different. And Ragman is sort of bitten off a bit more than he can chew, but it's a fantastic 80s, amazing 80s film. Really, really cool. I do not understand why this and Trick or Treat haven't been picked up, to be honest. I don't know why they haven't been picked up, sort of like by Arrow or Second Sight or anything like that, and get a really cool release. This needs a real good update. It still looks really good on DVD. I've only got it on DVD. You can get it on Blu-ray, but that's like European imports. I don't tend to do that. I don't know why. I just don't. I bought a few before, like Spanish ones and that, and all the writing's in Spanish and stuff, and I can't understand it. So I'm probably missing some of the features on it because I can't speak Spanish and stuff. But yeah, but someone needs to pick this up. Trick or Treat. Arrow Video need to pick this up. Instead of releasing the same films over and over and over, they're re-releasing Carrie again and stuff like that. They re-release films over and over and over. Pick something new up. Trick or Treat. No one's touched it. You know, I'm sure they can probably get rights on it. Great film. Highly recommend it. My last And I think that's it. That's my film recommendations. So you got Trick or Treat, you got Trick or Treat, Satan's Little Helper, Ghost Watch, the new Halloween trilogy, Pontypool, a great zombie film, and Howl. They're my recommendations for this Halloween for movies. But if you're not into want to watch a movie, you want to sit down with a book and you want to, not a story book, but films about horror films, I've got 3 recommendations for you. One is about Italian cannibal and zombie films, and it's called Eaten Alive. Don't want to flash it too much to cover because it's pretty gory, but yeah, Eaten Alive, Italian cannibal, and it's a really cool book, and it sort of goes through all the history of like the cannibal films, Eaten Alive, Cannibal Holocaust, and the zombie films like The Beyond and Zombie Creeping Flesh and Zombie Flesh Eaters and all that sort of thing. It's all in here pretty much. Really, really cool. Definitely worth picking up. I think it's out of print now, so you might need to try and pick it up second hand, but I'm sure you could. I'm not sure if any of these are out in print still. Don't know. Another one's more of a sort of a back to our home roots here for a good read, and it's the Hammer story. This is by Marcus Hurd and Alan Barnes, and it's the history of Hammer films. Again, another crazy great book. Goes through all the sort of like Hammer films. Really cool. Definitely worth a good pickup if you can. I get this out quite a bit for references, especially if I'm going to be doing any videos on Hammer and I want a little bit of background on stuff. It's got interviews and stuff, like it will have like this, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. So it's got pictures from the film, and then it's got people's views of the film and the actors, what they were like, and also like synopsis and all that sort of thing. It's a really cool book. The Hammer story, if you can get to pick that up. And last but not least is the John Landis book called Monsters at the Movies. This is a colossal book, but definitely worth picking up. Really cool. It's on the American Werewolf, I think, in London there on the front there. This is a really cool book, and it pretty much goes through every sort of horror film you can sort of think of, every sort of like genre. It goes through zombies, monsters, possession, all sorts of sort of things going on in this book, with some great photos. Really cool. It's all broken up to different sketches, like Scary Children, and then we go like Children of the Corn and all this sort of crazy stuff going on. There we go. There's Damien from the remake, or I don't know if it. Yeah, I think it was a remake. Children of the Corn down there. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. So I recommend those 3 books. So that's John Landis, the director of American Werewolf in London. That's Monsters at the Movies. We have Marcus Hearn's Hammer story. Definitely worth a pick up. And of course, Jim Slater's Eaten Alive. Italian cannibal and zombie films. Awesome. There you are, guys. But whatever you do this Halloween, just be safe, have a great time, and just, you know, be sensible. I mean, I worked this weekend, and people have been going out having sort of like Halloween parties, but they're just so rude, aren't they? The public are just so rude. I mean, I don't think I come across anyone nice the whole weekend when I was come across. They're all drunk and they're just horrible, just being horrible to everyone and people. And I was just thinking, that's not the way to sort of like enjoy yourself, is it? Going out, getting plastered and just ruining someone else's day or night or life even. So it's just be nice, really. Have fun, but just be nice. But yeah, I think a lot of people went out this weekend because obviously it falls on a Tuesday this week, so they can't really go out on a Tuesday. But if you do go out, just be nice to one another and respect that everyone's different and they've got their own life. You know, there's no need for you to upset anyone else's life just because you've had too much to drink, or you're trying to impress someone. You know, I saw it a lot at work on the trains. You get these guys showing off in front of these girls, and the girls giggling, thinking it's great. You know, and these poor railway staff just trying to do their job so they can go home safe to their families at night. And it's horrendous. But there we are. But whatever you do this Halloween, have a great one, all right? Take your time and watch some great movies. See you soon, guys.